this is Africa. We have got a pan-African policy that says an African is free in Africa and is not an illegal immigrant. That's how Chris Hani was released. But today, South Africans are behaving like Seretse Khama, talking about how it is that Africans are illegal in Africa. And for refusing to chase away these South Africans, the Boers attacked our countries. We lost over 120 billion US dollars, 600,000 lives fighting to liberate South Africa in wars in Angola, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Namibia. And South Africa never paid a cent back. Why should we pay for healthcare?
Now, here's another problem that we have as South Africans that is not spoken of as much as I would like. I'm not sure whether you know this man, but I'm pretty sure even if you don't know him, but you have seen his face somewhere. If you are on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or wherever, I'm pretty sure you have seen his face somewhere. Now, this Rutendo man is a very interesting and fascinating character for me. I don't really like this man, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't really like this man. This man, Rutendo, is always on South Africa's case, and bear in mind this man is a Zimbabwean. Is always on South Africa's case. If you can follow most of his videos, it's crazy to me that this man knows so much about South Africa. If you can listen to him, it's not hard to tell what this man knows a lot of things. He knows a lot of things about South Africa, our history, our present, and even our future, according to him. You know, so it's interesting to me that this man knows so much about South Africa, and he's using mostly his energy to speak about South Africa, the issues of South Africa. He knows about our politics, he knows about our economy, he knows almost everything about South Africa. And his energy is always directed towards South Africa. And the sad thing about it is that this man is given a platform here in South Africa. He's invited in platforms just so he can go there and speak about things that we know as South Africans, and then tell us about our history, our everything that has to do with South Africa. They give him a platform, he goes there, he speaks all types of nonsense there about South Africa and everything else. Well, I won't say the things that he's speaking about are things that are not true, because most of the things that he says are things that are documented, our history and things like that. So most of the things that he says are things that are there that we know to be true. But the only problem that I have with this man is that I can't understand why is it that a man who has so much information about South Africa can't have the same passion about his own country. That's the thing that I don't understand. Because, you know, I won't say he doesn't speak about Zimbabwe. He does speak about Zimbabwe in many cases. But if you can listen, whenever he speaks about Zimbabwe, it's only excuses and justifications, but not solutions. What use is there of having so much information, so much knowledge, but when it comes to you having to use that knowledge to help your own countrymen, you can't even use that knowledge? What use does it serve for him to know everything about Zimbabwean politics, everything about Zimbabwe's history, everything about South Africa's history, everything about South Africa, everything? But then when it comes to you using that information that you have to help your country, to help your people, you can't do that. You can't offer solutions. The only thing that you do when you speak about your country, you are just going to tell us the reason Zimbabwe is here is because the West did this, SADC, this, South Africa did this, Zimbabwe, and that is why Zimbabwe is like this. But you can't use all that information to say, you know what, okay, Zimbabwe is here, but how do we get out of here? How do we get out of here using all that knowledge that you have? Instead of just calling our journalists here illiterate, busy just speaking about South Africa, saying our journalists are illiterate. You, the literate one, why aren't you doing something about the situation in Zimbabwe? And apparently this man was staying in South Africa for some time, and then he has moved. I don't know. The other time I saw him making a video praising Nigeria. They in Nigeria saying, people are saying Nigeria is slums. Nigeria, look at how beautiful Nigeria is. I saw him there by Nigeria and I was like, this guy. So he's a fan of Nigeria. That is why he always in South Africa's case. That is why he's always in South Africa's case. But then, let me just leave it there because I just wanted to bring this man to your attention, and then this video I'm about to stitch right now. Listen to this man just to prove the point that I'm trying to say. Would this man It seems like he knows a lot of things, but this information that he has, he's using it in the wrong ways. He's just focused on South Africa. His energy is just directed to South Africa. He should take that energy and direct it to Zimbabwe and try and help the people of Zimbabwe and try to change the situation in Zimbabwe. And that's the thing about people who are like this, man. Because this kind of personality, there's a lot of people who are like this. These people who like to act as if they know more than everyone. You know, those types of people. They have all this information about politics, about everything, and then they like to call other people illiterate when they can't understand something. There's a lot of people like that. But the funny thing about these people who are like that, it's just that the literacy that they have, because they like to boast who they know things, the literacy that they have, they are not using it to come up with solutions. They are using it to come up with excuses and justifications. That's what I don't really understand. Unlike us, who don't come here and pretend as if we know everything. As if we know, I am the master of politics. I know everything about politics. I am the master of economics. I know us, the people who don't do that, who are just random people who are opinionated, we are the ones as Katina's thing who come up with solutions. Because we are not out here just trying to show other people that we have information, we are learned, we have knowledge. No. The little knowledge that we have, we use it to what? To try and come up with solutions. That is why South Africa is better than most countries here in Africa, because we try to come up with solutions instead of excuses and justifications. But these people like this man, they just like to boast about their knowledge, calling other people illiterate. But then they can't come up with solutions that are actually going to have a lasting impact. That's just what I wanted to talk about today. Let me stitch a video of this man Rutendo just to prove that this man is always on South Africa's case and he always acts as if he knows a lot more than everyone. Yabo? So let me stitch this video of this man and listen to him, because there's a whole lot that is going to say there. Listen to him and then tell me on the comment section down below what do you think about this man. Do you appreciate him, or you think he should just focus on Zimbabwe and leave us here in South Africa and stop focusing on South Africa, stop focusing on Nigeria, stop going out there and researching things about South Africa, researching things about Nigeria or other countries. He should just research everything that has to do with Zimbabwe, his country, and focus on Zimbabwe since it is collapsing right now. It's people like him who speak too much, who are needed right now to advocate for the citizens. Yet instead of advocating for the citizens of Zimbabwe, you are out there calling South African journalists illiterate. What's up with that? Tell me on the comment section down below. But if you just enjoyed this video or you learned something new, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. My name is Emmanuel and this is Mzansi Versity, the place where we transform lives through knowledge and information. Let's meet again on another video.
Now watch Clement Manyathela interviewing the Zimbabwean ambassador and see the prejudice, ignorance, illiteracy and hatred that black journalists have for black South Africans and black Africans, and seek to divide them in order to maintain apartheid and imperialism. Listen to this.
Yeah, why do you think though that a lot of Zimbabweans are coming here for medical services? Why are so many of them leaving their country even illegally to come here? And I'm focused on those that are here illegally. What are they running away from? Because part of the reason why I would imagine people are fleeing Zimbabwe is the economic and the political situation in that country. There are some people who find themselves here. Often they say there are no opportunities for them in Zimbabwe, or that's why they're coming to seek healthcare here, because they don't have confidence in the healthcare in Zimbabwe. They complain about human rights abuses, a crackdown on government opponents. So what responsibility are you taking for the influx of Zimbabweans in this country?
Well, let me say in the first place, you are framing migration in a very negative perspective. And yet migration is not necessarily negative.
No, it's not. It's negative when it's illegal and it's uncontrollable.
And there it is, that black South African journalist illiteracy and incompetence, with a senior journalist like Clement Manyatela asking a stupid question: why are Zimbabweans coming to seek healthcare in South Africa? When he knows very well, in 2021, the United Nations Human Rights Council came to Zimbabwe and did an impact assessment to find out what it is that was causing the human rights crisis in Zimbabwe, and they came up with a report that was presented at the UN General Assembly in 2022, and it said that the illegal sanctions by the United States, UK, EU, Canada, Australia, the most powerful nations in the world that colonized us before, was the reason why Zimbabweans were not enjoying their human rights, not enjoying healthcare, education, clean water, clean food, because these illegal sanctions were stopping trade, they were stopping us from importing machinery, tools, and growing our economy, which displaced refugees into South Africa. Cyril Ramaphosa has been saying this. The government of South Africa has been fighting those sanctions until they were removed in March last year. What is it that a senior journalist cannot understand about that? Then instead of telling people about these human rights violations of these sanctions that are displacing these refugees, he goes on to lie that the government of Zimbabwe is the one that is abusing human rights. He goes on to say that the Zimbabwean government is the reason why people are running away. There is no report in the UN, the ICJ, or the ICC talking about the Zimbabwean government ever violating human rights. But this American government has been found guilty of war crimes and crimes against humanity by the ICJ. The South African journalists never talk about that. That is the incompetence and the propaganda that they push. Then he talks about uncontrollable migration. The first country to migrate into other people's countries without documents was South Africa. It was South Africans running away from Boers, unable to fight these Boers, who ran into neighboring countries without documentation, without papers. Then they were regularized and given papers and even given jobs. Hence, Derek Heinekom, people like Lindiwe Zulu, people like Cyril Ramaphosa's wife worked in Zimbabwe. Not only that, you've got Chris Hani, who came into our country, was trained by Zipra on how to fight. He decided to fight with Zipra against the Rhodesians. They fought a war in Hwange. When they were defeated, they decided to retreat into Botswana. When they went into Botswana, the puppet of the British who was there, Seretse Khama, arrested them, called them illegal immigrants, and said that they were armed and dangerous. The AU had to go to Botswana and teach Khama that this is Africa. We have got a pan-African policy that says an African is free in Africa and is not an illegal immigrant. That's how Chris Hani was released. But today, South Africans are behaving like Seretse Khama, talking about how it is that Africans are illegal in Africa. And for refusing to chase away these South Africans, the Boers attacked our countries. We lost over 120 billion US dollars, 600,000 lives fighting to liberate South Africa in wars in Angola, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Namibia. And South Africa never paid a cent back. Why should we pay for healthcare?